Abby here with Scrap and Abby, and I have another fun craft miss project for all of you ladies. Today I'm going to be showing you how I alter these Dollar Tree milk glass bottles, and I've done these before for some fall themed ones, and I will be sure to link that video below so you can check that one out if you didn't get a chance to see that. But we're going to be making the third bottle for this Joy series on camera together. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of show you up close one of the bottles so you can see all the different elements and textures and different goodies and just all the fun little things that are on this altered bottle. So mine is a few glue strings that I keep finding, but I'm wiping those away as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and get my table cleared off and get set up for the first part of this tutorial. This might be a little bit longer, but if you don't want to watch that part, you can kind of just skip ahead and see all three bottles together. But on some projects like this, I like to show each step as I do it. That way you ladies can see how I created this, and you can put your own twist and spin on it. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get everything set up for us to work on this bottle, and I will see you in just a little bit. Okay ladies, so what I have here are the different elements that I need to create the Y part for this altered bottle. So what I did, and I thought I had a plain one to show you, but it's just these milk glass bottle jars from the Dollar Tree, and what I've done already just to kind of save some time is I went ahead and already put a couple coats of gesso on this, and I already sanded this off. And this step is completely optional. You can leave it just solid white if you want. You can leave it clear. It's up to you. I just happen to like this kind of a look. Now what I'm going to be doing next is getting the bottle ready for us to start putting our layers on. Before we can get to that, I'll show you some of the different trims I'm going to be using. And I just have things kind of tossed in this little bucket here so I could keep track, make sure I had all the different components. We're going to be using some of this gold cording, gold and white cording, and this is going to be really fun to share this with you. This is the Texture Luxe from Faber-Castell, and I'm grabbing from, I got these at Michael's as well. They're just some of the wood embellishments for the holiday, and then a couple trims that I don't have on my table, but these are some of the trims off of that spool that I have. And then it's a little bit of Monami Gabby, and then we have some eyelash wool, and then we have a couple of the chipboard pieces that we're going to be using embossing to make the label and then the letter Y, and then this little tiny piece of chipboard, and I'll show you when we get to putting this on the bottle what this is for. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and get the gold, oh, that's what I forgot to put in my little bucket, was this right here. I'm sorry. It's the Gilder's Paste Wax, and it's the Antique Gold. So we're going to work on this part first, just so I can kind of let the Gilder's Paste Wax really set onto the bottle before we start going on, and then we'll do the embossing part in the next clip. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way, and I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And if you've never used any of the Gilder's Paste, they are so much fun to use. I have a few different colors, but I just love how this looks, and this really goes a long way. If you're looking at this and you're thinking there's not much in there, this really does go a long way. So I'm just going to use my fingers. You can use your finger tool like I am. If you don't want to get your fingers dirty with this, you can use a glove or a cosmetic sponge, something like that. But that's how pretty it looks. Look at that. Just really, really pigmented. I like it. So I'm just going to take this, and I'm just going to kind of sporadically just kind of go around. Let me zoom just a little bit closer. Sorry about that. Just kind of wherever you want these little touches and hints of gold to be. So I kind of put it on like that, and I'll take my other finger and kind of just rub it in a little bit. And I'm just going to basically just kind of be doing this kind of all over on this bottle. Now this is going to be covered, this section here in the middle, with the different trims, but I still like to kind of put some on there so whenever you're looking at this up close, you can still see some of the hints of the gold like you can on here. So I just kind of do that. This would be really, really pretty to do if you weren't even going to cover the bottle at all. So, and that's a project I'm going to be doing later too. So I'm just kind of doing this and just kind of putting it on, and I'll go over the letters here so you can see how cool this stuff really is. I just love it. I've had it for a while and I just haven't made any projects with it, but anyway, I thought I'd kind of bring this stuff out for my holiday stuff. So just kind of go around the bottle, just adding little touches up here and there, just kind of really making these unique. Now, you aren't going to get these bottles to be 100% matchy-matchy, especially when you're doing something like this. I mean, you could try, I suppose, but I don't want my bottles to be matchy-match. I really want them to be more like sisters, not twins, because, or triplets, I should say, since I'm doing 3 bottles in this particular project. But I do like to have some of the same elements on each bottle, so they look like they go together. And I'm not going to worry about too much up here because I'm going to be wrapping that gold cording around there. So I'm not going to really take the time to add any of that gold Gilder's Paste Wax in those areas. But now I'm going to go ahead and work on the top. And I'm just going to I'm just lightly putting my finger on here. I'm not having a heavy hand with this because I really don't want it to be like a solid gold. I just really want kind of the hints and hints of the gold. I'm going to go ahead and do the top. And on my other two bottles, I did go ahead and do the inside. You don't have to, but I just happen to have some of that heavy gesso, which is what I used. You could use white craft paint, you could use regular gesso. This is just what I had out because I was working on some other projects. That's what I used to cover the bottle. But of course you don't have to have that particular brand or even heavy gesso. Alright, let me take a look here. Make sure I got everything where I want to kind of go. It's just kind of fun because it's just really a lot of creative play. So, you know, like I said, I'm probably putting a little bit of this where you're not even going to see it because of the different trims, but I just kind of like little hints of it here and there. It's just really, really fun. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and let this off, set this off to the side, and you can kind of get a closer look of how cool that really looks on, especially when you have the raised letters like that. It's just really, really cool stuff. I love it. So now I'm going to go ahead and kind of get my fingers cleaned off, and we're going to go ahead and work on the embossing. So I'm going to get all of that stuff set up, and I'll be right back. Okay ladies, so I'm just showing you the different components I'm going to be using for the embossing portion of this tutorial. And I'm going to be taking those chipboard pieces, which are from Maya Road. I didn't say that earlier. Just adding some perfect medium to them, kind of get a really good coat. And I'm going to be using my tray mate, and I'm putting on some of the Distress embossing powder from Tim Holtz in peeled paint. And I'm going to go ahead and emboss that. That's just an old tin I got from I think it had like some brownies or something in it, but you can get those at the Dollar Tree too. And I find that those work really well for different embossing pieces. Just be careful because the tin can get a little bit warm if you're using it for a long period of time. And while I got that one coat done, I'm going to go ahead and move on to embossing this again. I really kind of wanted that kind of a little bit more chunky looking, a little bit more distressed look to this, and I just like the texture of how this looks once I put on a second coat. So that's all I'm doing right there. And then coming up next, I'm going to be setting this to the side, and I'm going to be embossing the Y chipboard alphabet piece. It's going to go ahead and dump all of the, this was new to me, so I had a hard time getting that cap off for the first time. And I'm going to go ahead and work on the letter Y, and I'm going to be doing the same process, just embossing. This is just some gold embossing powder I've had for forever. I don't even know where I got it from. And that container from the Dollar Tree, the purple container, I find it just works really, really well for a lot of my bigger bottles of different embossing powders. And there is the Y. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my hot glue gun. Once I put on this Gilder's paste first, I almost forgot. I added this because I like little touches of gold onto the green embossed piece of chipboard. And then, as I mentioned, I used my glue gun to put the Y to the piece of chipboard. Now I'm going to be wrapping the different trims around the altered bottle. And these are all different trims that I've purchased from Michael's during their big ribbon clearance sale they had. So that was a really good time to stock up on those. And I'm just simply putting hot glue around the bottle. And that's a little tool I'm using to just kind of push down a little bit so I don't burn my fingers. And you want to be cautious if you're going to be doing this kind of a project with your kids as well, because you do want to be careful with the hot glue. So now I'm just folding down the edges of this wire edged rib trim because I didn't want to have the little pokey parts sticking out, like where you cut it, the ribbon, then the wire kind of shows up. I wanted to kind of have more of a clean, polished look. So I went ahead and just folded down the backs of each end after I cut it. And then I'm just using the hot glue again to just put this on the bottle. You, of course, can use whatever adhesive you like. I just find that the hot glue for these kinds of projects is a really quick option. And just putting some more glue on there just to make sure it's nice and secure. And I start in the center like that to make sure that I have the, the trim centered in the front of the bottle the way I want it to look. I'm just kind of rolling it just to kind of press it down a little bit, picking off some of the glue goobers that get all over the place. And then now I'm going to be working on using that white kind of gold and white corded trim. I'm just using some hot glue and not 100% of the application of the gold trim cording, excuse me. I'm just using that in a little bit of spots here and there just to kind of make sure that I have it down securely. And I didn't intentionally count how many I had, but I liked the way the first bottle looked, so I counted, and it was exactly 5 rows of that cording. So that's something I wanted to make sure I followed through with the second and the third bottle here, just so they did look a little bit more uniform together. And in the very end, you're going to see me just putting some hot glue on the tip of the fray part there, and I just press it down with this plastic embossing thing I have, and or for let's see here, when I'm using rub-on, sorry about that. I lost my train of thought. And I'm just cutting away some of the leaves, one glittery and one solid gold, from the different holiday, artificial flowers and whatnot that I got from Michael's. Just gluing those down the front. Really, it's just kind of adding like my own little bit of layers on here. And I just cut a couple of those little sprigs with little glittered, kind of like berry balls, I guess, the holiday berries, and just kind of pushing those down to kind of get them stacked in the format that I like. Again, just building the layers up here. And you have to excuse any stuttering today, ladies. My facial pain is really, really high today. We did a lot of talking yesterday, Thanksgiving, so I'm kind of paying the price. Now I'm just using some of the different smaller trims from the Michael's clearance, and I'm just folding them in half, making kind of a loop. And I'm just going to layer those down, and then take this other bit of trim that's coming up next. That's from my from Monami Gabby, excuse me. And I'm just kind of making that kind of like a little cluster there. And then I'm going to be grabbing the chipboard piece that's going to be coming up next. But first I'm going to cut off this piece of cardboard that you're watching me cut right now. That is to kind of level off that piece of chipboard. So the letters, when I glue them down, they are flush. They aren't facing downward, if that makes sense. And then I'm adding some of that eyelash wool from Ice trims, and I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of add that to the side, just to kind of give a little bit of visual interest behind the snowflake that I'm going to be adding here shortly. Now, what I used on the snowflake is that Texture Luxe in Pearl from Faber-Castell. All I did was take one of the wood ornaments, snowflake ornaments, from Michael's, and I just took my finger and kind of pounced it and kind of spread it around, and it just added a really nice texture. And now I'm just cutting it in half with my scissors and finding the piece I want to use. I'm going to simply hot glue this to back, and we're going to be done. So I will see you in the next clip. Hello ladies, so here are the completed altered milk bottles. Now before I get into the last part of this video, I do want to let you know that if you hear a voice in the background, I am sitting outside my husband's office. He's on the phone with a friend, and I'm filming this on my entryway table because this is much cleaner than my craft room at this point in time. So I'm trying to hold the camera steady as I can. So I just think these bottles are so cute. I love the way they turned out. They're, just a really fun and I think fairly easy project to do. As I mentioned, the bottles are from the Dollar Tree, and then I just used the gesso, and with some of the different trims and ribbons and floral pieces from Michael's, I was able to create these lovely little bottles. Now, these are from Maya Road, the letters and the chipboard pieces here, if I did not mention that in the voiceover. I've had those for quite some time in my stash. And then you can see that I use some of the Gilder's paste on the edges of that. I'm kind of calling it the frame or whatever. And then I think it just kind of adds a nice touch to that. And then that's the gold embossing powder. And I did 2 coats of the Tim Holtz Distressed embossing powders because I kind of wanted that a little bit more of a thicker, kind of a chunkier look, if that makes any sense. And this is the bottle we did on camera together, of course. So I like how each one looks different. But you can tell that they go together because I sanded it in different spots. I put the Gilder's paste in different spots, and not all of the different arrangements are exactly the same because it's just kind of the nature of making a project like this. So I just really like how they turned out. I hope I was able to kind of inspire you to alter something like this for your home. And if you don't have a Michael's close by, you can definitely use some of the floral holiday arrangements from the Dollar Tree. And I know they also sell different kinds of holiday trims, and then even the jute, if you don't have this kind of material here, the jute, the cording with the gold foiling in it, you can just use the brown jute from the Dollar Tree, which is what I used on my fall bottles. And I just like to try to find crafts that are fairly easy to do for holidays, things of that nature, that you can also use them from different items from like the Dollar Tree or from other shops, in case you're not in an area where you have a Michael's or Joann's or Hobby Lobby. So if you have any questions about any part of the process portion of the video or anything else about this project that I have not answered already, please let that question below in the comments, and I'm more than happy to get back to you ladies if you have any questions. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making some new holiday home decor for our house here in Florida, and I just appreciate all of you ladies so very much, and you truly do bring me so much joy. A little corny, but I mean that sincerely. You ladies know I'm kind of a cornball. So I just want to thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope that you're enjoying all the other videos in my Craftmas 2016 playlist that I have on my YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out the other videos, and this is your first one to see of mine, please go check out that playlist. I will link it down in the description box below, because I've already been putting all kinds of videos in there for various holiday projects. So I will see you ladies next time. Happy crafting, happy planning, and happy scrapping, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!